Hello everyone, today we'll be reading from Uncle Arthur's Bedtime Stories, Volume 1, page 81, Lost in the Rain. Have you ever been lost? If not, you can hardly imagine what a terrible experience it is. Perhaps you have wondered sometimes just what you would do if ever you were to be lost. Well, Amy and her sister Ruby did get lost one day, and I am sure you will want to know what happened to them. Just how old they were at the time, I am not sure. I should say that Ruby was not more than 5 and Amy about 8. Of course, Amy, being 3 years older than Ruby, felt that she was nearly grown up and was well able to take care of her little sister. Both of them loved flowers, and having heard that there were some beautiful primroses in the woods, they decided they would go and pick some for Mother. As the woods were not far away from their house, they thought they would not be gone long, so they did not tell anybody they were going. And then, too, they wanted to surprise Mother with the flowers. So away they went, hand in hand. Soon they were romping happily through the trees, but as the undergrowth became thicker and thicker, they had to walk single file along the narrow, winding path. On and on they went, keeping their eyes open for the clusters of primroses that they had been told were now in bloom. They saw a few blossoms here and there, but they continued to walk farther and farther into the woods in the hope of finding still better and bigger flowers. So glad were they to be going flower picking all on their own that they did not notice how far they had traveled, or how the time was passing. Neither did they notice that the weather was changing, but it was. By and by, when they had gone at least 2 miles, Ruby looked up through the trees. "How dark is it getting?" she said. "So it is, Ruby," said Amy. "I didn't notice it before. What big black clouds are up in the sky, and it's beginning to rain. Feel it, Ruby." Ruby stretched out her chubby little hand to catch the raindrops. Just then, there was a bright flash of lightning, followed by a loud peal of thunder. "Oh," they cried together, taking tight hold of each other's hands. "There's going to be a storm," said Amy. "I don't like storms," cried Ruby. "They make me afraid." There was another bright flash, another boom of thunder, and then the wind roared through the woods, swaying the trees in a terrifying way. A moment later, down came the rain in great torrents. How it rained! Ruby didn't try to catch it now. It caught her and Amy too, until it had soaked their hair, their dresses, their socks, their shoes. "We must hurry back home," cried Amy, very much frightened. "Run, Ruby, run!" They ran, splashing through the mud and puddles, with Amy in front and Ruby following as fast as her little legs would go. For 5 minutes or more they ran, with the rain beating down on them and the thunder crashing overhead. Then Amy stopped. Where are we?" she cried, alarmed. "We're lost. I've forgotten which path we came on. Oh, what shall we do? What shall we do?" They both began to cry, their tears chasing the rain drops down their cheeks. For 2 or 3 minutes they stood there sobbing and clinging to each other. Then Ruby remembered something she had learned from Mama. "Amy," she said to her big sister, "Mama said once that if we ever got in trouble, we should tell God about it and ask Him to help us. Do you think He would hear if we should ask Him now?" "I'm sure He would," said Amy. "If we were to kneel down and tell Him we're lost, maybe He would do something for us." So then and there, those 2 dear little girls, soaked to the skin and shivering with cold, knelt down in the mud, with the rain streaming down, bowed their heads, and asked God to help them find their way out of the woods. As they rose to their feet, Amy anxiously began to look round. Suddenly she pointed to a certain crooked tree. "Look, Ruby," she said. "Isn't that the funny-looking tree we saw some time ago when we came into the woods?" Ruby thought it was, and the 2 hurried over to it. There by that crooked tree they found the very path that they wanted, the one that led out to the woods. Soon they were both home again, getting dry and warm beside the fire. "Mama," said Ruby, with a lovely light in her bright blue eyes, We never would have got back if Jesus hadn't shown us the way.